He thought Christmas would end in silence, until his boss showed up at his door with nowhere else to go. Christmas Eve, Aaron Cole's small apartment had finally gone quiet. His son, Noah, was at a sleepover. Dinner sat cold on the counter. The TV played in an empty room. He thought he'd spend another holiday alone, the way he had since his wife died. Then, at midnight, someone knocked. He opened the door and froze. Rebecca Stone stood in the hallway wearing an evening gown, her eyes wild with panic. His boss, his CEO, standing there like she'd run out of places to go. He couldn't move, couldn't speak. She looked at him like he was the only safe place left in the world. "Aren't you going to invite me in?" Aaron had learned to live small. His apartment was clean but spare, the kind of place that held only what was necessary. A couch Noah had picked stickers off of when he was 5. A coffee table with one leg shorter than the others. A kitchen that smelled faintly of microwave dinners and burnt toast. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. He'd built a life here after his wife died, one careful day at a time, making sure Noah had what he needed, even when Aaron didn't know what he needed himself. Tonight, the apartment felt even smaller. Noah had been picked up around 6 by his friend's mom, a woman Aaron barely knew but trusted because she smiled at school events and always asked how he was doing. Noah had been so excited he forgot his toothbrush. Aaron didn't chase him down. Let the kid have one night where Christmas felt like Christmas instead of something they were just trying to survive. Aaron had made himself dinner. Spaghetti. No sauce, just butter and salt. He ate half of it standing at the counter, then put the rest in the fridge. The TV was on because silence made him think too much. Some old movie he wasn't watching. He sat on the couch scrolling through his phone, waiting for the night to end so he could pick up Noah in the morning and pretend everything was fine. He'd worked for Rebecca Stone for 3 years. She ran a tech startup that had gone from 12 employees to over 200 in the time he'd been there. She was sharp, demanding, and intimidating in the way people are when they're smarter than everyone else in the room and know it. Aaron had been hired as her executive assistant, which was a polite way of saying he handled everything she didn't want to think about. Schedules, emails, coffee orders, keeping her calendar from imploding. He was good at it. Invisible in the right way. Rebecca didn't talk to him about anything that wasn't work. She didn't ask about Noah, didn't wish him happy birthday, didn't acknowledge when he stayed late or came in early. That was fine. Aaron didn't need her to care. He needed the paycheck, the health insurance, and the stability that came with a job he could count on. So he showed up, did his work, and went home. That was the deal. But now she was standing in his hallway at midnight on Christmas Eve, and nothing about that made sense. Aaron didn't move at first. His brain couldn't process what he was seeing. Rebecca Stone in a black evening gown, sleek and expensive, the kind you wore to a gala. Her hair was down, which he'd never seen before. At work it was always pulled back, tight and controlled. Now it fell past her shoulders, a little messy, like she'd been running her hands through it. Her makeup was smudged at the corners of her eyes. She looked like someone who'd been holding it together for hours and had finally run out of ways to do it. She was shaking, not visibly, but Aaron could see it in the way her hands gripped her clutch, the way her shoulders were pulled too tight. She looked at him like he was supposed to know what to do. Stone, he finally said. She flinched at the name, then straightened, trying to pull herself back into the version of herself he knew. It didn't work. "I need to come in," she said. Her voice was quieter than it ever was at the office. No commands, no edge, just tired. Aaron looked past her into the hallway. It was empty. The building was old, the kind with thin walls and neighbors who complained about everything. A TV murmured behind someone's door. A dog barked 2 floors down. Normal sounds. Nothing that explained why Rebecca Stone was here. "What happened?" he asked. She didn't answer right away. She glanced over her shoulder like she expected someone to be there, then looked back at him. "Can I come in or not?" He should have said no. Should have asked more questions. Should have told her this was inappropriate, that she needed to call someone else, that he wasn't the person she should be coming to. But he didn't. He stepped aside and let her walk past him into the apartment. The door closed behind her with a soft click, and the air in the room changed. Rebecca stood in the middle of his living room, looking completely out of place. The gown, the heels, the diamond earrings that probably cost more than his rent. She didn't belong here. She looked around slowly, taking in the mismatched furniture, the toy cars Noah had left under the coffee table, the stack of unpaid bills on the counter. She didn't say anything, but Aaron could feel her seeing it all. Seeing him. You want to tell me what's going on? He asked. She set her clutch on the coffee table and took a breath. When she looked at him, her face was blank in the way people's faces get when they're trying not to cry. I was at a party downtown, she said. One of those charity things. I left early because I couldn't stand it anymore. On the way back to my place, I noticed a car following me. Aaron's stomach tightened. Following you? She nodded. Same car. 3 turns. 4. I tried to lose it, but it stayed behind me. I got scared, so I kept driving. I didn't want to go home. Didn't want them to know where I lived. So you came here? Yes. Why? She looked at him like the answer should have been obvious. Because you live close. Because I know you. Because I didn't know where else to go. Aaron didn't know how to respond to that. You didn't call the police? And tell them what? That I think someone was following me. That I panicked and drove to my assistant's apartment in the middle of the night. She shook her head. Aaron watched her standing there, still holding herself like she was in a boardroom, still trying to be in control. He'd never seen her like this. You want to sit down? He asked. She hesitated, then sat on the edge of the couch, knees together, hands folded in her lap. Aaron sat across from her. The TV played softly in the background until he turned it off. The room went quiet. I'm sorry, Rebecca said. I shouldn't have come here. Aaron looked at her. Really looked at her. She wasn't here because she wanted to be. She was here because she had nowhere else to go. It's fine, he said. You can stay as long as you need. Something in her shoulders loosened. He got her a glass of water. She held it like it was fragile. Her eyes drifted to a photo on the shelf. Aaron and Noah at the park, laughing. Your son? She asked. Noah. He's 8. He looks happy. He is. Most of the time. She was quiet again. I hate Christmas, she said suddenly. Aaron didn't interrupt. I've never had a real one. Just obligations. Parties. People who don't know me. Tonight I looked around that room and realized I was completely alone. Her voice broke. And then I panicked. And I ended up here. She looked at him, eyes shining. You were the only person I could think of who wouldn't judge me. Aaron felt something shift in his chest. You're not falling apart, he said softly. That's being human, he added. They talked quietly after that. About loneliness. About loss. About being strong when you don't want to be. Rebecca asked him why he stayed in the job. Because it's stable, he said. Because my son needs me to show up every day. That's enough, she said. They watched the snow start to fall outside the window. A dark car idled down the street, then drove away. You're safe, Aaron said. Rebecca finally relaxed. She admitted she'd never let anyone see her like this before. Never let herself be weak. You don't have to pretend here, Aaron said. She smiled, really smiled, for the first time that night. They talked about his wife. About Noah. About the walls they'd both built. Do you ever think it's too late to have something real? She asked. No, Aaron said. I don't think it's ever too late. They stood by the window together, watching the snow blanket the city. I should go, Rebecca said eventually. Aaron nodded, even though he didn't want her to. At the door, she turned back. Tonight was just Rebecca and Aaron, she said. When we go back to work, things go back to normal. He understood. I can do that, he said. She smiled. Merry Christmas, Aaron. Merry Christmas, Rebecca. She walked down the hallway and disappeared around the corner. Aaron closed the door and stood in the quiet. The clock read 12:30 a.m. Christmas Day. The apartment felt different now. He walked to the window and watched the snow fall, covering everything in white. Tonight, for a few hours, neither of them had been alone. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was what Christmas was really about. Not the decorations or the gifts. Just people finding each other in the dark. Aaron turned off the lights and went to bed. Tomorrow, Noah would come home. Tomorrow, life will go on. But tonight would stay with him. A reminder that even in the quietest moments, connection can still knock on your door.